Capital Region cold cases dating back decades.
Loved ones and entire communities for years searching for answers. Jalik was only 12 years old when he vanished without a trace.
It's a gruesome case that has stymied police and haunted a family in the Albany area for more than 6 decades.
Today, Albany police announced they have solved the 1964 murder of Catherine Blackburn. Craig Freer vanished on this day 2 decades ago.
Had it been taken seriously right from the start, could that have made a difference?
Tonight, how police and the community are able to find closure in a case that haunted investigators for years.
It's a great sense of relief that Albany could close a very painful chapter in its history.
And one woman speaks for the first time after her attacker confesses decades later.
You really want to deliver that message.
I do want to deliver. Fight all you can.
But many families here in the Capital Region are still desperately waiting for resolution to these cold cases.
I don't like the word cold because they're not really cold.
Tonight, Newschannel 13 investigates in this special report the search for justice.
Good evening and welcome to a 13 Investigates special report from Newschannel 13. I'm Mark Mulholland.
And I'm Subrina Dhammi, and this is the search for justice. Over the next half hour, we're bringing you an in-depth look at some high-profile cases that have gripped our community.
Including cases that have been solved and some where the search for answers is continuing. And we begin with the story that stumped police for 27 years until late 2024. Tonight, how police finally found the mother of baby Moses.
Police say they found the newborn with the umbilical cord still attached.
It was September 7th, 1997.
And that results of an autopsy show that the infant was born alive.
3 city workers installing irrigation pipe in the flower gardens in Washington Park make a gruesome discovery near the statue of Moses. The body of a newborn baby boy, face down, wrapped in a blue cloth covering parts of his body. There were burns to the child and to the pillowcase he was wrapped in. 2 wooden matches were found nearby.
We are looking for anyone that could give us information.
It wasn't long after that horrifying 7 a.m. discovery that shock and sadness began to sweep over the region.
We commend the soul of baby Moses, and we commit his body to the ground.
A grieving community held a funeral for baby Moses 2 weeks later. Complete strangers and the city's mayor placing flowers next to a small white coffin. All the while, police were tracking down every possible lead in the search for the mother and the killer of baby Moses. They were relentless in their pursuit. I was granted access to review thousands of pages of police reports gathered over 27 years. Investigators questioned known prostitutes, interviewed girls who were absent from Albany schools in early September. The weeks turned into months and years. Albany PD's passion for solving the case never wavered, even as the leads slowed down. But thanks to DNA advancements and popularity among families and consumers, a major break was about to come.
Some forensic investigative genealogy was done and identified a specific family of interest as being likely relatives of baby Moses.
Someone with familial DNA matching baby Moses had used one of those services like Ancestry.com or 23andMe, and it came back as a link. And now, police had to connect the dots. The tested DNA was tied to relatives in Roxbury, New York, Delaware County. Police had to figure out which of those relatives had ties to Albany on September 7th, 1997. Their search led them to a home on Ostrander Road in Guilderland. They got a court order to search the trash left at the curb by a woman named Carrie Mazuka.
A sample of Miss Mazuka's DNA was obtained surreptitiously and run and confirmed to be the biological mother of baby Moses.
So then we knew, okay, we have a mom that likely lives in this house, but now we need a swab from the person in the house to actually say for certain that this is the mother of baby, baby Mazuka.
So they kept a close eye on her for about a month. building their case until it was time to question her. It was September 6, 2024, one day shy of 27 years since baby Moses' lifeless body was found.
We're going to need you to come with us. We'll explain everything when we get where we have to go.
Once in the police car, detectives Lawyer and Verhagen make small talk with Mazuka.
We talked about anything and everything except for what we really wanted to talk about. So the other night, my wife ordered pizza and wings for me and the boys. It was $46.
Mazuka talks about her adult children. The friendly talk continues at the station. Detective Lawyer and Verhagen tell Mazuka they need her help.
We kind of have a little bit of a mystery on our hands, I'll say.
Okay.
After reading her rights, Lawyer asked Mazuka where she's from.
Well, I'm originally from Delaware County.
Yeah. Okay, what part?
Roxbury.
Okay. So the reason we need you to help us out here is we're looking into something that happened quite a few years ago. Okay. Back in 1997. So some remains were found in Washington Park. The remains, the DNA testing on the remains that we found, are connected to your family. Okay?
A surprised Mazuka tells detectives she can't remember what year she moved to Albany.
When did they move up here? 95?
I know it's kind of a personal question, but it's one of the things I gotta ask. How many times have you been pregnant?
2.
2?
Yes.
The detectives know better.
So part of this is we're going around, we're trying to collect DNA samples from people, all right, to try and match to the remains and that we're doing. Is that something you'd be able to help us out with?
Yeah, that's
Give
fine.
us a sample of DNA. Okay.
The police are getting what they want, and Mazuka wants to know more about exactly where the baby was found.
Are you familiar with this area at all?
Within Washington Park? I've seen it during Tulip Festival.
Interestingly, when police searched her home, they found a dozen photos of the Moses statue in Mazuka's photo album. 20 minutes into the interview, Mazuka is apparently getting nervous and wants to know more about DNA.
So how does that work with DNA? Can you pinpoint?
We obtained DNA samples from a bunch of different people, and then we end up zeroing in and figure out who mom and dad are. This is a baby, if you couldn't tell.
I'm gonna throw up. That's gross.
After just a half hour of conversation, the detectives leave room 5 to go get another detective to take a DNA swab from Mazuka.
Something out for me?
When Lawyer and Verhagen come back in, Mazuka blurts out,
And I was doing the math. I moved here in 97.
You moved here in
Because
97?
I'm so terrible with dates, times, years.
At this point, they also think she's a terrible liar, and they start to zero in.
What would cause someone to leave a baby in a place? Anything you could think of?
No. Because they have all those hospitals, safe places.
So I'm sorry I gotta show you this, but I do, because it is important. Okay? The baby was actually set on fire.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Yeah, so not only was it abandoned, but...
Oh my God.
Less than 3 minutes later, Lawyer reminds Mazuka that DNA evidence will lead them to the mother.
And then what happens is, we go, hey, guess what? We found this baby dead and burned. And the mother said she's not the mother. What's that scream to? If you're in
I did it.
You did it?
I did it.
What happened?
I got pregnant. I had the baby. I gave birth in my bathtub. Baby died. Didn't know how to get rid of it.
It was definitely a surprise. I think that happens in about 0.01% of investigations. That started weighing on her, and even when we started speaking hypothetically about the consequences of not telling the truth, I think it just weighted on her too much, and she had to get it out.
But the interview wasn't over. Mazuka at first denied killing her baby boy, saying he must have drowned. But when pressed, she told them how she did it in her apartment at Main and Western. In this bathroom.
I put my hands over its mouth and nose.
And she denied burning the child. Lawyer presses. She admits to placing the baby in a grocery bag and driving her Honda Civic to the park. She said she handed him to a random person in the park.
That didn't happen.
I didn't know what to do. I set the baby on fire.
If you could say anything to that baby right now, what would it be?
I love you and I'm sorry.
If he asked you, why'd you do this to me?
I was young, stupid, and...
She wasn't young and stupid. She was 25 years old.
What else about that interview stands out?
Just how cold and callous she was. She referred to a living baby as it. She described carrying the baby out like a bag of trash.
Lawyer says he and Verhagen choreographed the interview. They had the questions and the photographs in order. It all worked better than they could have hoped, but there was still work to be done. So Mazuka, to the surprise of some, was allowed to go free.
Right down this way, these guys.
But they were watching her very closely.
We wanted to be able to see if we could corroborate additional information from what she had told us with what we would acquire through the eavesdrop.
What did she continue to do during that week?
After Carrie laid out to us exactly what she did to that baby, she went to work like nothing happened.
Same day?
Same day, went to work. She had a conversation with her then boyfriend, and it wasn't until we started conducting interviews of the boyfriend and her family that she started really panicking.
It was 10 days later that police go to Mazuka's home to arrest her. And here, for the first time, is the police body cam video.
Come on down here, Bob. Go ahead, put your hands behind your back, man.
A grand jury indicted her on charges of murder, tampering with evidence, and concealment of a corpse. On February 13, 2025, Carrie Mazuka pled guilty to manslaughter in the first degree.
What did it mean to you to see this case closed?
I think it must be such a great sense of relief for the community, but at the same time, it's sad. It's very, very sad. I'm very sad for that baby. That baby didn't have an opportunity to live the life that he deserved.
Your Honor, first I want to say I'm sorry. I did a horrible, unimaginable thing, and I live with remorse and regret.
But at sentencing, Blaine Lewis told the court that Mazuka only regrets getting caught.
She did not want anything to do with this baby.
She shared transcripts of phone calls Mazuka made from jail. I don't deserve this. Do I deserve something? Yes. Do I deserve this? Absolutely not. And another. I got the worst straw of the judge. I got the worst prosecutor. It's just how my effing luck goes.
What possible sentence could this court impose that would compensate for or redress the death sentence you gave to baby Moses?
The judge sentenced the 53-year-old to 25 years. She's not eligible for parole until 2046.
This was one of those cases that just the tragedy of it all reached out and grabbed me. And so, like everybody else, I just kind of lived with this idea that this innocent life had been snuffed out and nobody could figure out who had done it. It's a great sense of relief that Albany could close a very painful chapter in its history.
This was a story that shocked and saddened the community. And here is a reminder that there is help available. A safe haven for newborns confidential helpline is available 24/7, toll-free at the number you see on your screen right now. It took more than 40 years to finally get a confession from a man who admits he's a kidnapper and a murderer.
This case spans 3 states involving 3 DAs, a police detective coming out of retirement, and the courage and bravery of a survivor. The break in this case came from an anonymous tip.
June 23, 1981, a 15-year-old girl hitchhiking for a ride home in Berkshire County, Massachusetts. The man who picks her up speeds past her house, pulls out a gun, and refuses to let her get out of the car. She fights him off and manages to escape. September 18, 1986, a 32-year-old woman kidnapped and murdered in Bennington County, Vermont. She was tied up, gagged, put into the trunk of a car. Her body was found in the woods more than 2 months later. More than 4 decades would pass before a man confesses to both crimes.
Hi. Oh, it's nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you too.
This is Laura Sheridan, who now lives in Austin, Texas.
So this was the original statement that I made to the police.
She was that 15-year-old girl who escaped that kidnapping 45 years ago.
More than 40 years ago.
Yeah, it's a long time.
And so much is fuzzy, but still those moments inside that car are crystal clear.
Very clear, very clear.
Laura was taking the bus home from Pittsfield, Massachusetts on that summer day, June 1981. It stopped in the town of Lanesboro, about 10 minutes away from Laura's home in New Ashford. She decided to hitchhike the rest of the way, something not uncommon in the early 1980s. A man driving a 1978 blue Chevy Monza stops. He offers Laura a ride. He was about 200 pounds, unshaven, wearing a white hat.
Do you remember what you talked about?
We talked about Taekwondo because I was taking Taekwondo lessons at the time. He said that he had taken Taekwondo. At some point, he asked me if I had a cigarette. Everybody back then smoked. And I said that I didn't have one, and he asked me if I minded if he could pull over and get some cigarettes that he had in his trunk, and I said, no problem, that's okay. When he came back to the front of the car, he had a brown paper bag, which he put in between us.
They approached Laura's home.
So I pointed out my home, and I said, there's my house, you can let me out there. And when he didn't pull over, but actually accelerated, that's when I knew that I was in some trouble. He very quickly then revealed what was in the brown paper bag. He took out a gun from the brown paper bag.
He tries loading it while driving. She grabs it.
And I held the gun out towards the passenger side window. At some point he grabbed my hair, so he's in the driver's seat, and he rustles my hair down and pulls me down to his lap, but I still had the gun out towards the window.
The man pulls into a rest area, grabs the gun back, and once again tries to load it. And that's when Laura quickly unlocks the door and escapes. Police arrested David Morrison and charged him with assault. In police statements from 1981, Morrison denied ever holding Laura against her will. He was found not guilty at trial. Nearly 5 years later, a 32-year-old golf pro disappeared in Manchester, Vermont. On the evening of September 18, 1986, Sarah Hunter stopped at a Citgo gas station on Route 7A to buy cigarettes. Morrison was working at that station. He grabbed her, gagged her, tied her up, put her in the trunk of a car, and drove 20 minutes north to Danby, Vermont, where he killed her and left her in the woods. Her body was found more than 2 months later.
I lived right in town and right around the corner from where Sarah was abducted.
Erica Marthage is a Vermont state's attorney, the top prosecutor for Bennington County. She was 16 years old when Sarah was abducted and murdered.
It changed that community forever.
Yeah, it definitely did.
Manchester is a quaint area. That safe, small town feeling vanished. A few years after Marthage was elected as the Bennington State's attorney in 2006, she revisited Sarah Hunter's case.
This case has always been one that sat with me.
With new DNA technology, they zeroed in on David Morrison as a suspect. But the case was dismissed due to a problem with the chain of custody with a piece of evidence.
One of the hardest calls I had to make in 2012 was when I had to call Sarah's family and tell them I had to dismiss it at that point. That was an awful phone call. I said, short of a confession, we are not going to revisit this.
In May of 2023, an anonymous tip comes into the Berkshire County DA's office in Massachusetts,
which had some real credible information in it.
It prompted Berkshire District Attorney Timothy Shagru and his team to reopen Laura Sheridan's case. They discovered that while David Morrison was acquitted of assault, he was never charged with kidnapping. And because Morrison had left Massachusetts after the crime, the clock stopped on the statute of limitations for kidnapping, which is 6 years.
Can we bring the kidnapping charge for him here in Massachusetts and get Laura the justice she needs that she didn't get in 1981?
DA Shagru reached out to his counterparts in Vermont, knowing Morrison had been on their radar as well.
The Berkshire investigators are the ones that got it rolling for us again.
Morrison, now 65 years old, was already serving a life sentence in California for kidnapping, rape, and robbery there. Both Vermont and Massachusetts sent detectives on several trips to the West Coast, with Vermont pulling a detective out of retirement who ended up being the only person Morrison agreed to talk to. Morrison, realizing he's not going to make parole in California, was offered a deal: confess to the crimes against Laura Sheridan and Sarah Hunter in exchange for serving the remainder of his life sentence in Vermont, where his family still resides. Morrison took the deal and revealed gruesome details of how he killed Sarah Hunter. In the affidavit of probable cause, Morrison said he had a pair of scissors. Morrison said with the scissors, he entered her ear and pierced her brain.
He was the police officer he's the one that called me.
In conjunction with that confession, a Massachusetts state trooper tracked down and called Laura. They asked if she would testify before a grand jury about what happened to her in 1981, with the hope of solving her case, Sarah Hunter's case, and possibly more.
Do you remember how you felt? Was there a little sense of hope?
It kind of gave me the bigger picture of how my case could help solve other cases, and that was motivating to me.
In 2025, Laura traveled back to Berkshire County, Massachusetts, to face the man who kidnapped her 45 years ago.
My first time seeing him was in the classic orange criminal jumpsuit with his shackles on, and that was very impactful.
And you looked him right in the eye.
I did look him in the eye, yeah.
With Laura's bravery and years of police work, in December of 2025, David Morrison pleaded guilty to kidnapping Laura Sheridan in 1981 and the kidnapping and murder of Sarah Hunter in 1986.
We had multiple lawyers in different states, California, Vermont, and Massachusetts, all of us coming up with language that protected each state.
Which I've never seen, and I don't know that has been done.
The amount of work and time that went into this was remarkable.
It really was. It was 2.5 years of constant work between our agencies and our states.
Did you think that this was going to happen, that there would be resolution?
No, never. What this case demonstrated was that we're all still extremely committed, willing to do it, and it can be done.
I do hope that by talking, and there's, for lack of a better word, solidarity, that people understand they're not alone, that other people go through these things. People like David Morrison shouldn't be on the streets. And I think he knows that himself. And he's where he needs to be, and that's behind bars.
The investigation against David Morrison is not over. Police continue to question him while he's being housed in prison in Vermont for open cases in Berkshire County, including a missing persons case and an attempted abduction. The work is not over.
Cold or unresolved cases here in the Capital Region are getting new sets of eyes with the Criminal Investigation Resource Center at Russell Sage College. We sat down with co-founder of the center, Dr. Christina Lane. She says students help police departments organize and analyze primarily homicides or missing persons cases. Most recently, they aided in the Catherine Blackburn and Gretchen Perham cases. Blackburn was killed in 1964. DNA technology led investigators to her killer last October. And in December of last year, investigators claimed they found the man who kidnapped and killed Perham back in 2005.
These students get there, they work early morning, they come late at night, and they put these cases together so that the investigators, once presented to them, can see, okay, I'm not going to go this direction, but now I'm going to spend time this way.
The center's efforts provide hope for solving decades-old cases. And Lane notes that while justice offers answers, it doesn't replace the loss for families. We've shown you recently solved cold cases that date back decades.
And the search has never stopped, and it hasn't for the cases we're about to mention either. They continue to be a mystery around the Capital Region. Police continue to search for Jaliek Rainwalker, who disappeared in November 2007.
His case still draws national attention. Police say Jalik was last seen with his adoptive father, Stephen Kerr, in Greenwich. Kerr reportedly picked up Jalik from a foster family in Albany County and stopped at a Red Robin in Latham. He told me shortly after Jalik's disappearance,
"Anybody knows where Jalik is? We'd really love any information, or Jalik, if you're watching this, we'd love for you to come home and just try to figure this out."
Kerr and his wife deny involvement. Kerr remains a person of interest but has not been arrested. Police urge anyone with information to come forward.
Police are actively pursuing leads as the search for Craig Freer continues nearly 22 years later. Craig was last seen June 27, 2004, walking near train tracks in Scotia. For 20 years, his family has faced rumors and theories about his disappearance.
For somebody to disappear like this with no means that we know of, no wallet, no ID, no car, nothing but shoes and a pair of pants and shirt, and to walk down some train tracks and to not be seen again just seems absolutely impossible to me.
The most significant search was in 2021 in Scotia, close to where Craig was last seen.
Audrey Mae Herron disappeared 24 years ago, leaving her family still searching for answers. Herron vanished after leaving her job as a nurse in Catskill, driving away in her black Jeep Grand Cherokee. Her daughter, Sunsia Court, was just 10 at the time. She remembers her last conversation with her mom. When Sunsia got married, she reserved a seat for her mother.
In the last year, police searched an apartment in Johnstown linked to Kelly Sue Ackernight's disappearance. They hope to find new clues in this long-standing case. Kelly Sue was last seen leaving work at the Rite Aid in Amsterdam on September 30th, 2008. Her car was found on fire hours later in Johnstown. Police say a person of interest lived nearby at the time.
A 45-year-old murder case in Saratoga Springs still haunts the family of Sheila Van Ness Shepherd. Her father is seeking justice with the help of new DNA technology. Van Ness Shepherd was found dead in her Church Street apartment on Thanksgiving Eve, 1980. She was bound and suffocated. Her father, Jim, told me he believes she knew her killer.
Well, I'm pretty certain from my viewpoint that she knew the person. It wasn't somebody off the street, or somebody that was in there. What went wrong in there that would make somebody do? She was a very gentle person. What could possibly go wrong is the mystery to me.
Police remain optimistic about new DNA testing methods.
A Saratoga Springs mother is still searching for answers in her daughter's disappearance 40 years ago. Nancy Heber is the mother of Tammy McCormick. Nancy told her story only to Newschannel 13 back in 2022. On April 29, 1986, Tammy, a young teenager at the time, told her sister she would get a ride home to a friend's house, and that was the last time she was seen.
I know that she's passed over. I know that. So I feel comfortable with that. Yeah. But I would like to know what happened, and I would like to be able to find her remains.
Nancy is part of the Ride for Missing Children, finding solace with others who share her pain.
It's a well-known case here in the Capital Region. The parents of Suzanne Lyle have kept her name in the public eye, hoping someone will come forward. Suzanne was last seen March 2nd, 1998, after getting off a bus at Collins Circle at Albany.
I know, and I'm sure everybody who will hear this will probably say the same thing. It's 25 years, give it up, you know. You can't move forward until you have some kind of answers.
The Lyle family has since helped other families through their Center for Hope. And you can help in this search for justice. Here's the number to contact the New York State Missing Persons Clearinghouse.
The Missing Persons Clearinghouse is responsible for providing assistance to law enforcement agencies handling cases involving children, college students, and vulnerable adults who have gone missing. Any tip or detail can help. The Capital Region has seen decades-old cases solved, as we have shown you the cases of baby Moses, Sarah Hunter, and Laura Sheridan.
And thanks to determined law enforcement, tips from the community, and advancements in technology, justice can be found.
Thank you for watching, and have a good night.